Go, Joe. Do it. Do it. Perfect. I like that's your vocal representation of my sound. But you're like
That's totally it. Are we on? Nice. Welcome everybody to Crazy Town.
Welcome to Crazy Town. This is the town where we're crazy. It's also the show we call Don't Fret Friday, Don't Flip Out Friday, Don't Freak Out Friday, Don't Fall in a Fast Moving Traffic Lane.
Friday.
So yeah, this is Friday if you haven't figured that part out. It's not Thursday anymore. And it certainly isn't Wednesday, but this is Don't Worry Wednesday version. So anyway, it's the show where we talk about whatever issues you've got going on in your life, whatever drama or anything like that, anything you're struggling with, maybe give a little bit of perspective, maybe give a little bit of help, just kind of be a friend to encourage you. We're not professional psychiatrists, therapists, or psychologists. That's the other one. Yeah. And and we're not professionals at English either, apparently. At least not me. Joe is actually exceptional at that language.
Maybe.
See the way you said that?
The Michigan version of English.
Yeah. See the way he said that was just so perfect. You can tell that he knows his English. Anyways.
Minglish.
Is it Michigan English?
Yeah.
English. Nice. I don't want to be from Delaware because then you got Dinglish.
Oh man.
And Dinglish is a hard language to speak.
It sure is.
Definitely not fluent in Dinglish.
Winglish is Wisconsin English.
Yeah, Winglish is nice because maybe you can take flight with your English.
Yeah.
So on those English.
Then there's Oenglish, which would be Ohio. Oh. We're going all Midwest states right now.
Yeah. You got LA. Kinglish and Kinglish from Colorado and California. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
How do you separate the two? Do they speak the same language? They don't. I've been to both. Well, I've met people from both places. I've been to Colorado. I lived there for a while. It's great. Anyways, back on topic. This is the show where we help you guys. It's fun.
It sure is a blast.
Hopefully it's a fun show. So you can enjoy it. Yep.
Yeah. Woohoo! So you guys all look good in the chat. I can see you.
I like your text.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Beautiful.
Hey, Taff, Lay, Jesse, Princess, Keaton, Cherry. Science? Yeah, Science is here too. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I saw him. And Jeff, of course. How you guys doing? Oh, CDVNL. Hey, he's in the chat too. I see he's up there.
I am.
Oh, nice.
Here.
Hey, Psyche. I mean, I love you too. Nightcore. Hey, Drag Neil.
Wow.
Yeah. So why don't we hop right into it? That way we're not wasting too much time. I know there's a lot to get through.
Mm-hmm.
We've got quite a load here.
Taff, I still love your hair. It's beautiful.
Requests, things to talk about. Again, if you're in the chat, if you're new or if you're old, doesn't really matter. You can post a question right in the chat here, and one of our myself, Joe, or probably Princess will write it down on the website. You can go straight to the website and go to the Don't Worry Wednesday section, and post there if you have any questions, or you can do it anonymously by sending us an email. Of course, if you have me on Discord or Joe on Discord, you can send us there as well. So there's many different ways you guys can contact us for issues or whatever you're dealing with, whatever you want us to talk about. So feel free to put that out there. Don't think anybody's going to judge you, because we won't. So everybody's got issues. Everybody's got something that they want to hide from the world because they don't like that part about themselves or something. So don't be afraid. We don't judge anybody here. We're just here to encourage you.
That's right. Taff, I have not seen your hair from last month. All I see is the orange hair in your picture there.
Tav looks amazing always in every one of his pictures.
I would imagine.
Dang,
I would imagine so.
Awesome. And he's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, guys, if you want some real entertainment, what's going to be crazy is I just found out that Princess is going to be gone for a little while, starting next Friday, and we're going to try and hold this show together without her.
So that'll be some quality entertainment.
I don't know what we're going to do. Like, we're going to be like lost, I think, because she holds down so much behind the scenes. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she really does help out a ton, especially with getting us organized and keeping us on track and helping us with putting down the comments from you guys down in the chat. Super nice. So
yep, like all of our organization is just going to go right down the tubes. I mean, we're going to
be talking about cotton candy for 3 hours. It's going to be weird. So
that's right. Princess says we'll be fine. I'm like, well, you got to define fine. Define fine.
Define
That's fun. I know.
Yeah. With that one.
Yeah, okay. How about we start then? That's a great idea.
So we got some stuff from Angel Dead. Akil, if you are in this chat, just say, hey, I'm here if we say your name. Because this is basically roll call. No, I'm just kidding. Like it. Angel Dead, Akil, Nox, Amira, Snowlock, Lay, Deku, I know Lay's here. Rose, that's CJ Rose. Aaron, MCD, or McD. Science, Nathan, Cherry, Kendra, Jojo, Anonymous, and Amira again. Apparently, Joe, by the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Joe, slightly above average Joe, everyone calls him Jojo now.
Yeah.
So watch out for that. When people say Jojo, that's what they mean. It took me a long time to figure out. I was like, you mean Joe? And they're like, yeah. Okay. Just call him Joe then.
He shows up in the chat as Joseph Bohan.
Yeah.
But everybody calls him Jojo.
Yeah.
And we've also got Aaron, and Anonymous probably will not say I'm here because they want it to be anonymous.
That's right. We also have an anonymous one. That's true.
Yes.
Good call. Good memories.
Yeah. I'm smart.
Good rememory.
Yeah, good rememory.
Good rememory. For remembering.
Yeah, cool. It looks to me like Master Lay would be our first one that's here.
Yep, I would think that's it. So let's start with that one.
All right. What's that one called? Let's see. What? This one? I just clicked the wrong thing.
Emotions getting the better of me. This is still relevant, right, Lay? I mean, I know this was a little while back, but not too long ago. Hopefully it's still fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll lower this like that. There we go.
Ooh, I posted the link.
Oh, snap.
Did you see that?
Whoa,
I did it.
I did see that.
And that's Princess allowing me to practice.
Yeah, she was yeah, exactly. More than back then, to be fair. What? Oh, more now than back then, to be fair. Got it. Okay. This is from Lay. It's called Emotions Getting the Better of Me. And it reads as this. So it's that time again when my emotions are stuck at angry at myself. No matter what I do, daily chores, studying, being creative, talking with friends, doesn't matter. All I can think about is how what I do is terrible. I tried meditating, ignoring these thoughts, and trust me, that one didn't go well. And letting it all out. When I did, I was even more angry for not keeping my cool. I'm stuck at it since Monday, last Monday of April, and can't figure out what to do. To give you a better view at what I'm talking about, let's bring up a situation from yesterday. I went to the shop. Simple, except not really. Forgot my earphones. I went mad at myself already, but but figured I could just use my phone's speaker. When I did, the first person who passed me made me realize, just by passing me, that I'll probably annoy others with that. Even more self hate emerged. By the time I reached the store, I was steaming with anger, to a point where I almost punched someone for walking into me. That thought, even existing in my head, already caused more annoyance with myself. All that made me forget the shopping list, and I had to check with my mom to make sure I got everything. I didn't. More self criticism and hatred. The way back home was just spent with me coming up with more insults and the tiniest details I could criticize myself with. And when I got home, only then I realized what was going on with me. Guess what? Yep, I went mad at myself for being like that. Okay, so there you go. That's from Lay. That does sound that sounds like an annoying position to be in, like a really not fun place. Especially like because if you're angry at yourself, then you're angry at yourself for being angry at yourself. It's like, yeah. But I can relate to that. I think that I can relate to that more than most things here, just because you do get disappointed in yourself, and then you get angry at yourself for like sitting on your anger and stuff. So like I can totally relate to that. But yeah, it sounds like there's a lot going on here, and hopefully Joe can give you some insight on this. I'm sure he's dealt with similar issues. So yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ryan. And thank you, Lay, for the topic. I know it's not always an easy thing to talk about. And I appreciate you bringing this up because I have dealt with this many, many, many times. And I still do. Like, I'll still find myself in a funk, from time to time. And just, all of a sudden I'm just getting mad and frustrated. And I'm like, what the heck? Maybe it's because I'm forgetful. Maybe it's because, just one thing after the other seems to just not be going right, and I don't have anybody to blame but myself. And that's frustrating too, because now I have to take responsibility for all that. And it's like, oh my gosh, and then there's always the underlying, why do I have to be like that? And then that can just, like you put in your post, like that just makes it worse and makes you more angry and more angry. So I totally understand where you're coming from, and I know how hard that is, because it can really drive you nuts if you're not careful. And this is where forgiving yourself is the most important thing you can do, but it's also really difficult to do, especially in these moments when it's like, oh, well, I forgot that. And then you're mad at yourself for that. And then, I forgot that. And I'm mad at myself for that. And I forgot this. And then, man, like just today when I was working, I thought I had forgotten something I needed to print for my day. And so then it turned out I didn't actually need it, and it wasn't available anyway. So it turned out to not matter, but I still had that feeling of, how could I have forgotten to check that? Even though it worked out just fine, I was still mad at myself for forgetting to check whether or not I needed the thing. And so then when I'm out there working, I got on Google and I'm looking for printers that I can take in my car. And I'm like, they're all like $400. I'm not gonna buy one of those.
Wow.
Like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy something like that. So anyway, so I'm like, well, I'll just have those moments where I'm mad at myself for forgetting to print something. And that happens to me more times than I would care to admit, but it does happen. And one of the things I always have to try to remember to say to myself is that it's going to be fine. It's just going to be fine. Like, the world is going to continue. Life is going to continue. And my issues that I have going on in my life aren't going to change the fact that the sun's going to go up and it's going to come down, and everything's going to continue on just like it normally does. And I'm going to get to tomorrow. It reminds me of I think I mentioned it on this show before, where I have a guy I know who is an auto mechanic, and one of the things when he was getting frustrated with working on a car, what he would do if it got to the point where he just absolutely was so frustrated he couldn't go any farther, and he was stuck trying to figure out this problem with his car, he would take a step back, he would take a break and walk away from the car. And he'd sit there and he'd stew about it for a few minutes. And then he would visualize in his head, okay, how is this going to end? And he's like, well, it's going to end like every car repair ends. That is, the repair gets done and we give the car back to the customer. Because that's how they all end. And then once he was able to relax, and be like, okay, it's just going to be fine. Everything's just whatever. It's going to be great. And then he was able to then take a step back. And once he was relaxed, he could then figure out the problem. Because that's probably one of our biggest enemies. When we get mad at ourselves and we get tense, it's hard for us to figure out what's going on. That's why I think when I talked to Ryan, I was like, that's why this show that we do, why I feel one of the reasons it's so important is because when we get caught up in that emotional storm, it's hard for us to logically go through the steps of fixing it. Every single one of us is smart enough to do that. But when we get clouded by the emotion, we don't see clearly anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's why it really helps to have somebody looking from the outside once in a while to say, look, it's going to be okay. So then if you were on stream a little bit ago, like a few times ago, there's a mantra or however you want to pronounce it, that you can say called, and it just says, can't change it. In this case, forgot your earphones. Yeah, you can be mad about it, but you can't really change the fact that you forgot your earphones. So then you have to decide, well, can I go back and get them? Do I need them bad enough to buy a new pair? And that's when you can sort through those things. But once you come to grips with the fact that, hey, this situation that I'm in, I can't change the fact that I got to this point. The only thing I can change is what I do next. And once you accept the fact that you're in a certain situation and be at peace with it and say, well, I can't change the fact that I'm here. All I can do is figure out what to do next. And once you relax a little bit, then everything will start to clear up a little bit more. And you can figure out, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Generally, punching other people isn't the best option unless they're wearing sparring gear. Then it's okay.
Unless they own a Mac. Okay.
Unless they own a Mac. Be nice, Ryan. Some people on this stream probably own Macs.
I know. I was just kidding. Mac is fine.
But yeah, I mean, once you're there in that position where you can just be at peace and relax, everything becomes a lot more clear. And that's what I have to start us off. Ryan, you want to take it from here?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for covering that. And I think that a lot of what I was going to say is a lot of what you said. When you get angry at yourself, it's usually because you formed a habit of getting angry at yourself like this. If you are able to get angry at yourself that many times in one day, it tells me that you've definitely, this is something you do often. And you aren't shutting yourself up enough. And I say that because that's what I need to do when I notice I'm doing it. If I notice I'm getting frustrated about something, I don't want that frustration to become a habit about getting frustrated about everything. If I know I'm being impatient about something, I'll start to notice I'm being impatient in general, like about a lot of things. And then I'm like, whoa, dude, where's your patience? Just be patient. Like, calm down. Like, just wait it out. and deal with it. Like, start doing things that will force you to be patient. Start doing things that take a long time and you have to sit there and wait. Um, because that's important. Um, so sometimes you've got to go against what you're feeling, right? So yeah, like I said, that happens in pretty much anything that like any of the I don't know, seven deadly sins, anything like laziness or sloth rather. Um, spending too much time doing one thing or another, entertainment or work. Um, there's all sorts of things in life that require a balance, and our emotions are something that we need to control. And our emotions are often, like Joe was saying, what stops us from being logical or doing the right thing.
Hmm.
Um, it kind of separates us from ourselves. As oddly as that is, emotions separate ourselves from who we are, because a lot of times they hold us back from choosing who we want to be. Um, and so I'm not saying emotions are bad, but emotions are something we experience. They aren't necessarily who we are.
Hmm.
And it's important to remember that so that when we have an emotion like anger, you can say, I don't want to form this emotion as a habit and like keep it experiencing it all the time. I would rather experience something better, something different. And we've talked about this before. That's when you usually just take an action that um, tries to sidestep that anger, like you were doing. You said, "Oh, I forgot my earphones. Okay, I'll use my phone, right? And then I'll listen real close to my ear." And then you realize, "Oh, that might annoy people," that sort of thing. But you're getting mad at yourself as a result of all of these things because you're seeing them as a failure and you're seeing them as you did something wrong or you messed up, you didn't do what was
Hmm.
perfect. And so then you get mad at yourself. And maybe what you need to do is kind of like Joe was saying, forgive yourself, but forgive yourself in the moment. Um, or rather, understand that it's not that important or that big of a deal. I think one of the biggest things that helped me in life was saying it's not a big deal to myself, like about everything. Because as soon as I was able to just not be a big deal to myself, um, I was able to take myself a lot less seriously, which, I mean, you should take your life seriously. You should aim to and strive for becoming an awesome person, right? But at the same time, you don't want to take yourself seriously in a way that you are um, are being a jerk to yourself, right? That you can't allow yourself to slide. That you can't allow yourself to make mistakes because we're human. We have to make mistakes. That's how we learn most of the time. We have to make mistakes. And when you say like, oh, I forgot my headphones. Well, what do I learn from that? You know, the only thing I learned is, oops, I forgot that, and I'll try not to do that next time. But no matter how many times I try not to forget, I'm going to forget something eventually. It's because it's not necessarily one of those things that you're learning from, because it's not necessarily something that uh, matters. It's not a big deal. It's oh, I forgot that. Oh well, continue on. Like, it's gonna be all right.
Hmm.
Sometimes we go through these things, and it's not a lesson that we need to learn about the object that we forgot. More so, it's learning to deal with ourselves when we forget something. How do you deal with yourself when you forget something? How do you deal with yourself when you make a mistake? That's why you're making the mistake, because you need to learn how to deal with yourself. Uh, because learning how to deal with yourself is going to make it a lot easier to deal with other people, but also increase your relationship with yourself, so that you can sustain um, happiness. Um, because again, there's so many things in life that we make a big deal out of it, and then we get emotionally involved, and then it's become such a big deal that we can't function right, because we get so angry.
Hmm.
But if you can take a step back and just be like, it's not a big deal. Just remind yourself it's not a big deal. And you matter more than that failure, right? One thing I heard a priest say once is you don't look at somebody and And you don't look at someone and say, and point out all the things that they've done wrong and say that's who they are, right? That would be so wrong because that's not who they are. You don't hold a grudge against somebody and say that's what that person is, because that's you cannot influence that person at all. You cannot influence somebody that you think is a terrible person because you're going to treat them terribly. All right? And that's true for you too. How are you going to influence yourself when you don't give yourself the time of day, when you don't treat yourself well, when you don't treat yourself nicely, when you get caught up in emotions and things like that? You have to be able to see you as a human being, not as an action. You need to see yourself as a human being, not as someone who forgets things. Um, or someone who is really angry or someone who messes up. You're more than that, right? And you can't judge somebody's soul based on those things, right? So it's important to remember that you can't judge yourself like that. And so when you get angry at yourself because you got angry, or you get angry at yourself because you messed up, that's not necessarily evil or wrong. Anger can be a good thing. The anger is telling you, hey, we need to change something. But unless you change it, you're just going to be angry, and that's going to be the end of it. It's going to feel not good, and nothing good will come out of it. Instead, take a look at yourself, hold the bar high in yourself. But as we said before, love yourself above that bar, because that's what you really need to do. Everybody needs to hold the bar high because everybody should be striving to become an awesome person, right? That's what's going to bring the most good about in the world, is to become the best you. So hold that bar high. It's okay to be upset at yourself when you mess up, but love yourself above that bar.
Mhm.
Remember that bar doesn't define you. In fact, that bar's there so that you can jump over it eventually. But right now, yeah, sure, you're under it, right? That's okay. You're a human being and you're constantly growing. But remember to always love yourself through it all, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to control yourself, right? You can't control people that you know, you can try to scare people and control them that way, right? But the way to help somebody the most is to love on them, is to give them time and be their friend, form a relationship, strengthen them in that unity, that sort of thing. And if you're doing that for yourself, then awesome. Now I understand you said you were reflecting and that didn't help very much, and you tried a couple of different things. I think the main thing you got to do right now is just break that habit of your emotional response being anger.
Mhm.
Because that's all it is. It's just a habit. It's just a habit where your emotional response is anger. Your emotional response to anything is anger. How do you fix that? Like we talked about before. Um, when you do it, remember to stop yourself. Tell yourself it's not a big deal, and just accept that it happened, and that's okay. And that's not anything against you. The reason you're experiencing these problems, remember, everything has a reason. Um, everything is a lesson to learn from. And this lesson to learn is, okay, how do I train myself to not get angry when I mess up? That's all it is. It's just a lesson. Every time you get angry from now on, just remember that, oh, this is one of those lessons. How do I not get angry at myself right now? Let's try to practice that and try to practice that. And every single time that it happens, practice that again. And eventually that habit should be done away with, should be overcome. It will come back sometimes, just like anything. We can all slip away. We can all become a little bit more impatient. We can all become a little bit more angry at different things around us. We all have our fallbacks every once in a while. But then when you do, remember that's just another opportunity. Oop, got to fix myself a little bit in this area. Let's do that. Um, so, anyways, I know I've repeated myself like 200 times, but
204.
thank you. Thanks for keeping track. I love you. No, okay.
I'm just kidding.
I know. I'm just kidding. Okay, so yeah, Joe, what would you like to? Do you have anything to add on?
I do actually. I was thinking about this actually just yesterday when I was out driving, and I had gotten angry and frustrated with something, and I was paying attention to my response. Right, I was paying attention to what was going on in my body while I was feeling that anger.
Mm.
Right, now this might be a little weird and abstract, and I apologize for this, but one of the things about our emotions is we can use them as tools in a productive fashion. A lot of times when we get angry, what we do is we turn that inward on ourselves and we beat ourselves up, and it turns into this pit, and it can be damaging. But anger is, when I felt that feeling of anger, I noticed that I felt kind of the same type of adrenaline rushes when I was like really motivated to hit a goal or really motivated to do something. It's much like fear. Feeling that emotion of fear is very much the same bodily response as excitement. They're all, and anger would fall into that category too, where it's really a heightened sense of things. Like your senses are a lot higher. You've got more adrenaline running through your body. You're more awake and alert, and you're more kind of on point and on edge a little bit. So you can take that energy and use it towards something productive. In that moment, what I used it for was to focus. I took that and I focused in on my route, on my job that I had to do, and I used that to drive me to stay focused and get stuff done even faster than I was before. And then I also tucked in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, this is good, because I'm going to have a really great workout at martial arts tonight, because I'm going to use this energy that I have, and I'm going to knock over a punching bag a lot. So what you can do in those moments, when you're feeling that anger, when you're feeling that heightened sense of things, is if you can catch it, you can really use that energy for something good, and you can use it for something productive rather than to beat yourself up. Now, that's a really hard thing to do. It just takes some training. It takes some noticing it, and I don't notice it all the time. A lot of times I just get angry and I'm mad, and then I'm mad until I forget about it, right? But in those moments when I realize that, I'm in this heightened state, I can use this energy for something good. And then I figure out how I'm going to channel it. And what happens is that refocusing on some place to channel my energy makes me forget about what I was mad about. And it doesn't even really matter anymore. And I'll tell you another thing is that in this moment, anytime you're dealing with anger, especially anger with yourself, I highly recommend some form of strenuous exercise. Now, disclaimer, always consult a physician before you start any exercise program. Make sure you're in, okay health or whatever, right? But to use that energy to do something strenuous, to do some kind of exercise, is really, really helpful for two reasons. One, it burns off the steam that you have, right? Like, you've got this energy, it's got to go somewhere, so you release that energy. And then the other thing that happens is, if you work out hard enough, you kind of punish yourself a little bit for what you did that was wrong, that made you mad. So then you feel like you've had a just punishment to go with the thing you did wrong. And so, like, now the situation's kind of rectified a little bit. You did your penance, and you burned off your steam all at the same time. So that's something to try if you're in a position where you can exercise. Always consult a physician before starting any exercise program.
What?
And that's the end of the fine print.
Nice. Lay wants to know if blowing air into fancy shaped metal tubes intensely is considered part of exercise. And he's winking at me.
Would that mean like playing an instrument?
Yeah, maybe an instrument. Probably that. You know, actually, I thought of something while you're talking about that, Joe. And I think that what you said is so true. One thing that is really been really helpful to me in managing my emotions throughout pretty much my entire life is understand that this life is an experience and an experiment. You get to experiment with your life. Let me show you something right now. I moved my finger up, just my pointer, and then I moved it back down. I just experimented with that. That's weird. You try it. Okay, look, so your life is something you get to handle. You get to do whatever you want with it. There are times, I'm sure people see me do it all the time. I go into a chat and I just say weird things, right? Like people that just say weird things, right? Because it's fun to experiment and see how people react. But you can also do that with yourself. When you are experiencing an emotion, remember, wait, why don't I just experiment with it? Like, why do I have to feel this way? What if I took this, like, that's basically what Joe did. He's like, wait a minute, hold on. What am I feeling right now? Like physically, I feel amped up. Interesting. Okay, so what if I just like use this anger and focus down on like what I want to do? Let's see like what happens. Just as an experiment, right?
Mhm.
That's what he did. And that is what moved him forward through that anger, right? And I'll tell you, there are so many times in my life where that's basically what I did. That's basically what I do. When I experience something that I don't like, a lot of times I'll be like, wait, that's just an emotion, right? Why don't I try to see what I can do with that? Why don't I try to see how I can play around with this whole thing and make fun with it? Why don't I just be silly? Because a lot of times being silly is way better relief than being angry. When I can just take something and say, it would be a dumb idea to take all of these nuts and throw them down like throw them down the garbage disposal and turn it on and just like why would I do that, right? That's that's a bad use of nuts, right? But it's something you can physically do. It's something you can experiment with, right?
Mhm.
And your body's the same way. Your emotions are the same way. You experiencing an emotion, you can say, wait, I'm experiencing this emotion because I forgot my headphones. Why don't I just hum? Now I can do that. And that's fun. Or why don't I see if I can do really weird math problems in my head? Like, see if I can find a way to do better job at multiplying by 3. Or why don't I just take my shoe off and throw it in the air and catch it a few times and then get on with my life? Like that's weird, right? But those are things you can physically do. Those are things that you are capable of at any moment and any time, regardless of what's going on. You can take your shoe off, throw it in the air and catch it. And it's like, that has nothing to do with the scenario. Exactly. Exactly. Because guess what? Your emotions, they're not real. They're just in your head.
Mhm. And in your body.
And in your
Also.
body. Yeah. You got chemical.
It's a chemical response in your
It's a
body.
chemical response, right? But they're gone in a flash if you want them to be. They don't have to take control of your life. So allowing you to see the world as an experiment, as almost like a game, it really helps you put yourself in the mind frame of taking control of your body and your mind, allowing you to control your emotions at any given time. And I think that's really important. It kind of makes life look silly because you're like, it's just a game, right? But at the same time, it gives you that control over how am I going to become the best version of myself ultimately. So
Mhm. There's one thing I want to address here real quick. I noticed the magician Jester said, Joe, not everyone can do that. And they retracted the message. But magician Jester was talking about the response of being deflated and depressed when they get upset with themselves. And that's another response. Yes. What we were talking about here particularly was the amped up anger one and what to do with that. And I usually try to remember, if I'm angry, I do something that's exercise. I do something physical to like burn off that steam, right? And do something that moves me forward. In the event of the deflation and the depression, I try and do something creative. Like I'll play my guitar, I'll play some drums, I'll do something that is creative, and I will pour all that emotion into something where I'm creating something, because I know myself well enough to know that when I'm in that down, depressed state, that's when I come up with my best original work. And so I would challenge you in that state to do something creative. So amped up anger, do something physical or do something that requires focus. Whereas depression, deflation, do something that you can pour that emotion into something that you're creating. And it will be such a beautiful, beautiful thing. I can remember a time when Ryan and I were working on an album and a whole bunch of stuff was happening. I was just absolutely depressed. And I had this guitar part that I put together in this one song that we played. And I remember just down in my studio and I was crying. I had tears, my face was soaked. And I'm just crying while playing this part. And it turned out to be one of the most beautiful parts on the whole album, in my opinion. At least one of the most beautiful parts that I contributed. Ryan's stuff is at like this way higher level. My beauty is like his, not even close to beauty, but
it didn't even sound like music, man. It was just weird sounds and stuff. Don't worry about my stuff. It's weird.
Yeah. But okay, Lay says, well, I guess the worst I can do is just give in to my emotions and keep discrediting myself. So best I can do is move on and give myself credit. Even writing that felt gross. I would, yeah, that would be the worst thing you can do, is just let your emotions run wild and keep discrediting yourself. I would say if you're having trouble forgiving yourself, try to do something with that energy that you have, because that energy can be used in any direction you choose, and it is a choice. Once you're aware of the choice, you can make a logical decision on where to direct it. But hey, as I said, I am not perfect at this. And in fact, I don't catch it in time most of the time. However, interestingly enough, I've had some bosses in the past that knew about this thing of mine where they would purposefully say things to amp me up because they knew it would make me more productive.
Wow.
So they purposefully would push my buttons and make me angry. And then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, and then I'd go and get a whole bunch of work done. And then I'd look back and I'd be like, they just totally manipulated me.
That's terrible.
But hey, it was effective, I suppose. Props to them for noticing that's how I operate, I guess. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So anyway, I guess that's about all I can say. Hopefully that was helpful for you, Lay.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, I understand it can be tough. And it's not something that is solved just by, us talking. A lot of times it's solved on the battlefield, When you experience those emotions, you got to do your best to just shut them down. Do something else with that energy. Understand that you can be manipulated by yourself and you're in control ultimately. You don't have to obey those emotions. If you can do that, then you'll remove those habits and you'll be able to move on forward with your life and get this hurdle out of the way. You'll climb that hill, master it, conquer it, and you'll be the king of it. And then you're going to be like, look, I'm the king of emotions. I know what's going on inside of me. I can control this, right? That's why you're suffering through this right now. It's because that's your next biggest goal that God wants you to master. All right. So when you forget something, remember the lesson isn't that you have to remember better. The lesson is that you need to be able to get control of your emotions when you forget something, because we're human. We're going to make mistakes. And there are many times and places to get angry and emotional that we don't need. So I wish the best to you on that adventure. You got it, man.
Mm-hmm. You've got this. Bree loves you, by the way, Ryan.
Oh, I love Bree as well.
I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I responded in chat and I said, I said thank you to her for her kindness, her words or whatever. I don't remember what I said, but
she gave you more hearts than she gave me.
That's not nice.
Yeah.
Hold on. How many? How many more?
I don't know. There's so many. She gave me like one, and she gave you like 150 something. I'm just picking. Bree, you know I love you.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully that settles it. I can share some love. I got something to share. Anyways, yeah, let's move on to the next one, hey?
Okay. Lay, thanks again for that post. That was good. And do some exercise. It's good for you.
All right. So
now we got multiple color hearts.
Whoa.
Look at that.
Nice.
Thanks, Bree.
I like that. It's pretty. Science has some too.
Uh-huh.
Akil has some upside
Akil's
down.
got hearts and spades.
Oh, that is? I'm just kidding.
Man, oh man.
I thought that was an upside down heart with a stem. No, it's a mushroom, guys. It's a mushroom, obviously.
That's not a mushroom.
Look at
That's a weird mushroom.
Have you ever seen a mushroom that's not weird, Joe?
No, I've not.
Yeah, see?
Good point.
I know that was like my point to prove, but it's like it's a weird point to make. Like that's a weird argument.
All right, so we've got Deku, CJ Rose,
Aaron, Science, Nathan, Cherry, Kendra, Jojo, Anonymous, Amira. Science, Cherry, Sun.
No, we did sciences.
Ryosuke. So let's do. Wait, we did science.
We did science on
It's hard to be good
on Wednesday. Yes. See the done? See where it says done?
Oh, okay. I forgot the name by the title though, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So Kendra, it looks like probably Kendra must be next.
Kendra is here. Yeah, Kendra's next. Let's do it.
And
wait, Cherry's actually here as well, but we did her.
Cherry says Kendra's here, so we can do hers since she's here. Yeah, because we did one of Cherry's on the last one.
Let's see how how this one goes.
Kendra, wait. What's it called?
Okay, this is a friend's
expensive gift. Okay.
I'll share it in the places.
No, not if I do first.
I just meant.
Oh, and Princess did it too. Oh, Ryan got that one. Okay, good job.
You're welcome.
Good job.
I mean, thank you. I don't know how to use my thank yous and your welcomes correctly.
You don't?
No, apparently not. Kendra says, a friend's expensive gift. He reads as this. Today I was on Discord and was talking to my friend Gerald. He works as an audio technician and has his own YouTube channel. He started to talk about how he got a new microphone that he plans to use eventually. I told him congratulations and that I couldn't wait to get a new microphone. Or that I couldn't wait to get a new microphone. Whatever. The microphone I have now works well and is okay for a beginner microphone, but there are a few problems with it. One, I can't have headphones plugged into my computer to listen to myself as I am recording myself. Two, my microphone makes me sound like I am underwater at times, and even with all the editing I do with my computer, it isn't as great of a quality as I would like. Anyways, I told him that I am currently trying to save money because I need to build my savings account back up after this year of college kind of has drained me. He then proceeds to ask me what my budget was for a microphone, and I told him $50. The only way I would probably get one that is like $100 would take me a little while longer. Well, to my utter shock, he went and bought me a microphone for $168 on Amazon. I told him that he didn't have to do that, and he replied, "I know, but I wanted you to succeed, and this is a gift, so you don't have to pay me back." I told him that it's hard for me to accept a gift like that is so expensive. He told me it was fine because he recently got a bonus and he is getting his pay check this week. I told him that I will pay him back somehow, and he said, "No, you don't." Or no, you won't, probably. I want to pay him back because this gift is too much. I know Gerald really well, and he will not take money from me. He just wants me to succeed, and I will do my best as to not let him down. But I have to pay him back somehow other than my videos and me succeeding in that. We made a fake document on Word saying that we have adopted each other and that he is my older brother and I am his little sister. He is a really good big brother, but I want to pay him back and I don't really know another way to. We live in different states and I don't really know when I will actually get to see him in person. It is hard for me to accept gifts or a gift that's expensive from someone I care about because I'm used to having to work for things for myself and getting something that is less expensive or used. I don't think my paintings are enough to pay him back. What should I do? I feel like I might have already given myself an answer, but I probably am not seeing it. Sorry for how long this was. If you are confused about anything, let me know, and I will explain the best I can. Kendra. So there you go. A a conflict of receiving gifts, and accepting. Yeah. I there are many times in life where I receive gifts and I'm like, I just feel bad. Like, why did you get me something? Now I just feel bad. Like I thank you for it, but at the same time, now, yeah. So I can relate to you on that. But yeah, this is quite an interesting situation, something different than we've dealt with before. So I'm excited to see what Joe might have to say about it.
Yeah, it's very interesting that this topic comes today because today I just finished the audio book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And actually, I'm going to find it on here because I want to.
Just because I want to.
Because I want to.
I'm not going to do anything with it. I just want to find that.
Yeah. And it's going to be good. I'm going to post a link to it. It's going to be sweet. You're going to love it. But yeah, I was just finishing this book today. And interestingly enough, there's a very interesting topic about this whole thing about receiving gifts and giving gifts and all of that. So here is the link to Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Now, I don't necessarily agree with everything he teaches in this book. He does go through a little bit of new agey kind of stuff, a little bit, but most of it's just trying to help you understand how our interactions with money and wealth in general, not just money wealth, but like all kinds of wealth. But at any rate, the thing that pertains to your topic here was he talks about in there about being a good receiver, because I understand your conflict here, especially with expensive stuff. It can be hard. It can feel really strange. Like, oh my gosh, like this person just gave me this thing really expensive. And it's like, it can make you feel uncomfortable, especially you're used to having to work for things for yourself, getting things that are used, less expensive stuff, and being economical about that. And then when something comes like this your way and it's like a surprise to you, it's very hard to accept. It's very hard to deal with and all that. One of the quotes from this book that's really, really stuck with me was he said something that there are people in this world that really, really like to give, but they don't want to receive. They really, really want to give. And I have people close to me in that are exactly this way. And they talk about how much of a challenge it is for them to receive anything from other people.
Mm.
And that because I just want to be a giver. I just want to be a giver. And the thing that T. Harv Eker says in his book is he says, people who are like that, they're just really bad at math. And I was like, and at first I'm like, what the heck? He said, because if you're a giver, somebody has to be a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
In order for the transaction to take place, there has to be a giver and a receiver. And sometimes it's your turn to be the giver, and sometimes it's your turn to be the receiver. But when you shut down the transaction, then it actually hurts the giver. Like if you're the receiver and you don't accept the gift, have you ever had that happen? Where you've tried to give somebody something and they wouldn't take it? Like out of the depths of your heart, you really wanted to give somebody something and then they didn't take it from you, or they wouldn't take it from you. That really, like I've had that happen to me before, and that really hurts. So it kind of helped me to fix my thinking too, because I was in that same boat. And for me, it was mostly pride that was in my way. Like I didn't want to receive stuff because of my pride, basically, because I was like, no, I can take care of myself. I'm good enough to take care of myself. I can do this on my own. I don't need anybody else's help. I appreciate that you would give that to me, but I don't need it. Thank you. And for me, I'm not saying this is the case for you. I'm just saying in my case, it was pride that was getting in the way. And what I was doing, though, was I was shutting down a transaction that would have enriched the life of the person trying to give me something. Because you know that every time you give somebody something, it enriches your life so much. Because yes, I do believe it's true. I feel more blessed when I give than when I receive. And I think that's why it says that in the scripture. It's more blessed to give than receive. I believe that's a passage somewhere. I'd have to look it up. But in order for you to give, somebody needs to receive. And the best way to keep those transactions going smoothly around the world and to enrich the lives of others is to allow yourself to receive things. And I bet you it might not happen for a while, Kendra, but you'll find a way to pay them back somehow. You don't have to think about it right now. Right now, one of the best things you can do is just say thank you from the bottom of your heart and appreciate what Jarrell has done for you. But sooner or later, there's going to be an opportunity where you can either pay that back, or there's going to be a time when you can pay that forward, where you'll be buying people gifts that are $168 or more. And when you get to that point where you're going to give somebody something because you want to help them out, it's going to feel so good in your heart that you did that. And that's what Jarrell is experiencing right now. He gave you a gift that was worth a lot, and he had the means to do it, and he wanted to do it. And I'm telling you what, I'm sure he feels really good about being able to do that. And don't you worry, you are going to have so many opportunities to give back or to pay it forward to another person. You will have many, 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 many opportunities to give people things. But then in those moments when it's time for you to receive, sometimes the best thing you can do is just say thank you. One of the things I have trouble receiving is compliments. And I have to remind myself that when somebody pays me a compliment, sometimes the best thing I can do is just say thank you. And that's really hard for me to remember, but I'm getting better. I'm trying. And before this turns into me psychoanalyzing myself, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan. So, Ryan, what do you have?
Yeah, I think Joe hit the head on the nail right there. I said that backwards.
I hit the head on the nail.
You hit the head on the nail. Yep. It's like headbutt right into the surface that it's supposed to go into, and it went in perfectly. Anyways, so yeah, one of the things I struggle with the most in this area is, and this happens to me all the time. I hate it. I get something as a gift, and I haven't given anything in return. Right? Like I want it to be equal, right? I want to when I get a gift and I haven't given anything back, or if I get a gift and I don't have plans to give them anything back, or if that sort of thing, it's really hard because it feels like it's not fair. It also feels, it just makes me it makes me look like I look bad. It makes me look bad. It makes me look bad to myself.
Mm.
Because I know they're not thinking about that. And they don't think, wow, this guy looks bad because I gave him a gift and he didn't give me one in return. No one's thinking that, but that's how I feel. But you know what? That's just like what Joe was talking about. That's pride. That's pride, wanting to be the giver and not the receiver. Wanting to be the one that doesn't have to worry about money, Oh, I'm fine. Look at me. Or look how much I care about you. I got you these things. Ha ha ha. That's terrible. That's not what life's about. That's not what giving is about. It's not about being equal. And that's when I have to remind myself, Ryan, you don't even believe in deserve. You don't even believe that the world is fair.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not. You didn't do anything to earn that gift from them. That's the point. And no matter what you do back for your gift to him, whatever it is, he didn't deserve that. You're giving it. That's the point. So it can be really hard to accept gifts. It can be really hard once you accept a gift to get over yourself and be like, I didn't give them. What do I do now? I have to do something of like equal measure or something. How can I do that? But you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to. Because it's a lot like Joe was saying, they've received their gift already because they gave.
Mm-hmm.
And the blessing is in the giving. And a lot of times we've already received our gift when we do that. We get more joy out of giving the gift than that person will ever get out of the gift that we give a lot of times.
Yeah, especially because it's so stinking hard to receive things half the time. You feel like you got to give something back, and you're just then you get all stressed about it. You're like, oh man.
Mhm. So just remind yourself.
I know I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all there. I feel like we've all done this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the best thing you can do is appreciate them as
Mm-hmm.
much as you can and let them know how much you appreciate them and spend time with them and that sort of thing. Because the reason they're giving you that, a lot of times is because they want to see you succeed or whatever, or they just wanted to give you something, but they do it because they appreciate you and they like you. They want to be your friend. They want to be around you. They want to do something for you because you've had an effect in their life. The reason people give you gifts a lot of times is because they feel like you've already given them so much. And that oftentimes could be just your friendship. So I think one of the best things you can do is to just continue doing that. Being there, being the best friend you can be for them, giving them time, giving them love. And they're not going to complain that you never gave them a gift back. They're just going to be happy that you're there. So I think that's important to remember for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone here, we can't be like, it can't be just like most people experiences. I'm sure everybody experiences this.
Right. Right.
I, I can't even imagine that. Like, it would be impossible that only a few people experience this type of thing. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
everybody experiences this. I think it's a form of pride, and not really grasping the understanding of um, the way the world works. And we don't deserve They don't deserve anything from us. We don't deserve anything from them. We just give from our heart. And I think, yeah, the best thing you do is just be their friend. So that's all I got to say on it.
Mhm. It's a beautiful
And
thing.
yeah,
And I gotta hand it to you, Kendra, that I'm the fact that you feel this way, it's a good sign that you don't have a sense of entitlement, because that can be very damaging. If we go around thinking we just deserve to have people giving us stuff, you know, then that can be a damaging emotion. That can be a damaging standpoint to be in. So the fact that you're not there tells me that, you're relatively safe from being in that boat, which is good. So then it comes down to, you know, T. Harv Eker says, what he does now, because he noticed this same thing in himself. He did, he wasn't all about receiving all that kind of stuff. And he said, since he became, actually before he became wealthy, one of the things he started to do was just be so thankful anytime anything came into his life. He'd say, I'd find a penny on the ground and I would kiss it and say, "Mwah, I'm a money magnet," you know? And he's just so thankful, just for finding a penny on the ground and stuff. But just so any time you receive anything, the just, if you can pour your gratitude out, even at that person, or just in general, just an internal feeling of gratitude, is so helpful.
Mhm.
Kendra says, I'm also worried about what my parents will think, because they don't personally know him. My dad is really skeptical and they will want me to pay him back. I understand. And, as a parent, I don't always understand my kids. And that's okay.
Just leave it at that. That's great.
My parents don't always understand me. And that's okay. They
Mhm.
don't always understand what's going on in my life. And that's okay. And it's okay to be skeptical, because that's a protective thing. So that's okay. It's okay that your dad is skeptical. But at the same time, all of us need to be educated. It gets really funny, because I would deal with this with my in-laws from time to time. They have this saying, and my wife says the same thing. It's kind of like their thing. They always say, "You didn't have to do that." Anytime you do something for them, like buy them Kentucky Fried Chicken
Yeah.
or something, you know,
You didn't have to
and
do it.
and
Yeah.
they're like, "You don't have to do that." And I'm like, I started finally. I was like, how do I respond to that?
Yeah.
So then I'd buy them. I'd be like, I got this one, and they'd say, well, you don't have to do that. I'm like, you're darn right, I don't have to do that.
Bottom.
I'm doing it anyway. So just say
Yeah.
thank you.
It's kind of like it's a phrase to say, it is an appreciative phrase. Like, wow, I don't know what to say, but thanks, is another way of saying you don't have to do that, or you didn't have to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think I
Yep.
told you that you bought me a meal and I said, "Oh, thanks, Joy. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate that." And you're like, "Yeah, I didn't have to do that." I remember I was like, I just laughed because I was like, that's great."
Yep. Yeah, I did it anyway. I thought of another good one and then I forgot it.
Oh,
Maybe I'll remember it at some point. Oh, I didn't. Oh, well, give me that back then.
yeah. Oh, you don't have to do that. Oh, I don't? Oh,
Oh,
good, because I don't
thank
think I
thank
have the
heavens.
money for it. So,
Yeah.
could you imagine? That'd be great. Great,
That's
because that
so
was
weird. It
funny.
just
I didn't have the money for it at all. I just wanted to look good, so I'm so glad that you caught on, and you really actually get it.
Yep. Well, and Kendra says, I'm still my dad's little girl. Yes. And you know what? Your dad, in the back of his mind, I can see where he'd probably be thinking, what's this guy want?
Yep.
What's this guy want out of my daughter? He's buying her expensive gifts. You know, what's going on in his head? And it just goes to show, like, that type of skepticism, that's a protective thing. And that shows that your dad is protective of you. And that's a good thing. Okay.
Mhm.
Especially since he doesn't know the guy. And so automatically we want to protect our children. So that's okay. But, you know, if there's nothing here but genuine friendship, and he truly doesn't want you to give up anything for him or something, you know, that because that I as a dad, I can see where he would go that. Now, I don't have daughters. I'm sure if I had daughters, then I would understand even more. But just being a parent, I understand when somebody gives something to my kid, I'm like, wait a minute. Is this all legit and everything like that? You know?
Mhm.
But yeah. In fact, yesterday at martial arts, one of the instructors, he took my oldest son, and we were just all getting ready to go. It was the end of the day. We'd been there for like 4 hours, and we're just getting done for the day. And one of the instructors asked. He said, "Hey, can I borrow you for a second?" Not to me, to my son, right? And then he came to me and he said, "Hey, can I borrow him for just a minute?" And I said, "Yeah, no, that's totally fine, because I really totally trust these instructors, right?" So he took him into a back room and was just giving him some pointers on his push-ups and how to position his hands a little bit better and different things, because he noticed while he was watching him do class some of the different things that might be holding him back as far as getting his push-ups done faster. So that's part of our test, is a certain amount of push-ups. But anyway, but he didn't want anything out of him except to see him improve. And it sounds to me like that's the same thing with Jarrell. He just wants to see you succeed. He wants to see you improve, and he wants to do something to move you forward. And that's really awesome. But I don't blame your dad for being skeptical.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So, anyway, Kendra says, "Thanks. I feel better now." I'm glad. I'm glad you feel better.
Yeah.
And I thank you for posting and for being patient while we got to your topic.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Well, how about we jump on to the next train?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Kendra. You're awesome. We're so glad to have you here.
Yes.
Cool. I think Cherry left, right?
I don't know.
Pretty
Did she?
sure they left. If he's still, I don't know. If Cherry is still around, they said, I gotta go. See you all, love you all. So they're gone.
Hmm. Okay. So we've got some new ones too in here.
We've got
to sleep.
we've got CJ Rose. CJ Rose is on. Let's do that one.
CJ also said it's not relevant anymore.
Oh, did he? CJ, why you got to do this to us? That's not even cool, man. That makes me angry. Okay, not really. You're fine.
Yeah, CJ. If you're here, we would be happy to do yours.
Yeah. I think it might have been about, it says extremely anxious. It might have been about exams or something, which then it would be no longer relevant because they're over. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But we've got JoJo.
Well, let us know for sure. You know, Anonymous came before
Yes.
JoJo.
I think that would be good to do that one.
Because Anonymous was emailed a few days before that.
Let's do it then.
So, okay.
Okay. This was sent to us anonymously. By the way, you can do that. You can email dww@bss.studio.
Yes.
And that will send us a message, and you can ask to be anonymous there. That way, no one will know who you are. We read it and talk to you without you having to worry. So, anyways, here we are. This is titled Friends Protective Parents. That's what we came up with the title for it. They wrote this. I had a friend that I was really close to, and she ended up stopping hanging out with me because her parents thought it would be best. It killed me because of how close she was to me, and I'm not sure how to get past this pain or the pain. And that was all that was written to us. It was very short, very sweet, and I'm kind of glad for that. That's really nice. So thank you, Anonymous. I hope that Anonymous is actually on the stream watching. If not, we'll send him an email back to say, hey, this is the episode we talked to through. So.
Anonymous did say that they watch the stream. They watch either they're on the stream or they watch them later. All of them.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. That's so cool.
So they'll catch it.
Very cool.
So at any rate, yeah, we can.
Yeah.
What's that? Did you get it, Ryan?
Thank you.
No, I got it. Ha, I win. I win the prize.
You win the prize of just knowing that you won.
Yes.
Which is a great prize. Honestly, though, it is. It's a great prize.
Yes.
Okay. So, anyways, how do you deal with parents telling their kids they can't hang out with you anymore when you're just their friend? So, like, yeah, that's really interesting. Not a fun experience, and it kind of makes you feel like, what does this say about me? What do they think of me? Like, what's my reputation here? You know, and all sorts of different stuff. It feels very unjust and so on. So I'm looking forward to see what Joe has to say about all of this. So go for it.
You know, Anonymous, first of all, thank you. Thank you for emailing, and thank you for posting this. I think this is really important because this seems to happen a lot of times, and so a lot of people either deal with being told by the parents that they can't hang out with certain people anymore, or being the friend that then has to hear the words, my parents said I can't hang out with you anymore. And on any side of that, it's harmful. It kind of piggybacks well off of some of the stuff Kendra was talking about with her dad being skeptical of this person and all that, because parents, a lot of times, they just want to protect their kids. And they see something that, kind of strikes them a little bit weird. Like, as a parent, sometimes I see something going on and I don't like it, and so I try and steer the situation away. I notice this happening a lot of times. Like, my youngest son will pick on my oldest son, and he will do it. And I don't know if he is just having fun with it, but eventually it's not very fun, because eventually my oldest son just punches him.
Yep.
And that's not fun.
It is kind of fun, though. Sorry.
Not fun for anybody. But it's crazy, because I can watch the anger start to well up, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking at my youngest son, I'm like, dude, you need to not do that anymore. You need to stop it, because he's gaining temperature here. Like, and so as a parent, I can understand wanting to stop a situation before it goes too far if I see something that's kind of strange. So I do want to give the parents' perspective there, just so you can kind of understand. A lot of times parents don't just do this because they're trying to be mean or something. It's just that they're seeing something that they feel might be harmful to their kid. They may be wrong in that assumption. Nobody's perfect, and they may be wrong. However, it's tough to get past that. So the thing is what do you do to get past that pain? That was the real question anyway. So now that I've given you a parental perspective, what can you do in this case? Sometimes it's good to mourn when things like this happen. To grieve the loss of something good is not inappropriate. it's a good thing to do. And recently, we lost a family member. My great aunt passed away, um, and I don't generally grieve, because a lot of times I look forward. My perspective is generally like, hey, they're probably hanging out in heaven with all the cool people now. Like, so good for them. I mean, yes, they're not with us anymore, and that hurts, that we don't get to spend time with them anymore. We don't get to see them. We don't get to talk to them. But, you know, and in that case, I feel they're in a better place, so I'm happy for them at the same time. Grieving is a very, very healing process. That's why even in ancient times, when somebody would die, they would have like a time period for mourning. Like, they actually would like legally mandate, a time of mourning for people. Like, when somebody dies, you have to grieve for like 7 days or a month or something like that. Like, and
You
so,
have to actually.
right, yeah. So it's like, whoa. So like they would mandate it because they found it to be so effective. Now, I don't necessarily think everybody grieves the same way. Some people cry. Some people just be silent. Some people, go read a book. Some people have a midlife crisis and buy a motorcycle. Some people, there's all kinds of different ways people grieve. But for you in this case, that might be a really good first step, because I don't know what you can do to get your friend back. A lot of times in this situation, because, hey, mom and dad said, that's, I mean, we do need to honor that. So as painful as that is, first thing you can do is grieve. Second thing you can do, because you're feeling kind of down in the dumps, as I was talking about before, the deflated and depressed energy that comes, I would definitely try to do something creative. I don't know what your talents and your gifts are, whether it's music or writing or art or some kind of physical something, maybe working on cars, anything you can do that's somewhat creative and that fits into what you're good at, what your talents are, all that stuff. Like, if you can find an area in there and throw yourself into creating, it's the best time for that. To spend a little bit of time in solitude, to grieve, to mourn the loss of that good thing that you had, and to do something to create and use that emotion to create something beautiful. Because I've seen it time and time again, and I've said it time and time again, that for me and for a lot of people I know, my best creative efforts come in my darkest moments emotionally. And I would imagine it'd be the same for you. And I find that it's a healing thing, because I create that thing that's beautiful, and then I look at it and I'm like, oh, I'm so thankful that I had that time of darkness, because I was able to use the energy I had to create something beautiful. Because the only reason evil exists in this world is because greater good can be brought from it. That's why evil is allowed to exist, in order to bring out something better than what was possible before the bad thing that happened. So in this case, something good is coming your way out of this. I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I'm not sure, what it's going to take to get there. But something good is coming your way from this. And I want to encourage you, and I want to tell you that, whatever you do, whatever you decide to do, whatever you decide, just remember that we love you. And that even though this is a hard time, you are valuable. You're a valuable, infinitely valuable person. Whether this whole thing is your fault or not does not matter, does not change your value. You're a beautiful, beautiful person. And you can create something beautiful out of this. So I would encourage you to work toward that and come back and let us know how things are going. If you'd like, feel free to email or, direct message any of us, whatever you want. If you feel to the point where you want to join in the chat and chat in the chat there, you're more than welcome there as well. So the door's always open, and we want to just surround you with love. I know that it hurts, but you are definitely worth loving. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and he's going to say something wonderful.
Something wonderful.
Good job. On to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Thanks, Joe. Thank you for that. I have 2 points to make here. The first one is that it's okay. Friends come and go.
Mhm.
And the second one is something you can do about this situation, because there's something you can do. So the first thing I want to say is friends in life, like, I don't know how old you are, but it sounds like you're probably still in school. This is something that me and Derek used to talk about from time to time, and this is something that Joe and I have also talked about. When you graduate high school, you don't usually take too many friends with you over the next few years. In fact, most of them you stop talking to completely. And it's not because you don't like them as friends, it's just because you're not next to each other anymore. It's nothing to do with their personality. It's just you're not near them. And so you make different friends, you make new friends. The important thing there is not that you just kind of move on and move on, they don't matter. The important thing here is that all the friends that you get in life matter and they are important, but you never get just a few. You get a lot, because every person that enters your life, you have the chance to influence. And you have to appreciate the times that you got to influence your friends in the past, right? Um, and you can say, "Oh, these are good things. I'm glad I had those experiences with those people. They've had these effects on me, and I've had this effect on them." And that's all really, really important. Um, but at the same time, friends, um, you're not always going to have them. You're not always going to be around them, right? The only person you're always around is yourself. Um, and so that's why I always say you got to make sure that relationship is strong and stable. The relationship with yourself, because no matter where you go, you take you with you.
Mhm.
All your other friends aren't always going to be there, and that's fine. We all make choices in life, and sometimes we don't make choices, but choices get forced upon us. Life changes get forced upon us. Sometimes we move to a new state. And back in the past, we didn't have technology to stay in touch. Maybe you could send out mail, you know, and someone would run with it to their next town over, or to like 3 towns over. And then we got vehicles, and then vehicles transported the mail. But still, and now we got technology, but still, even now with technology, we don't usually remain that close with our friends that move away when we're at school. And that's okay. That's just how it is. That's how life is. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so sometimes maybe a parent says, "Hey, you can't be around that group of friends anymore." Or, "Hey, I'm moving you away from this school. You're going to be in this school now." There are many different times where the parent has to make the choice. And the kid, unfortunately, is just a part of that choice.
Mhm.
Um, and that's okay. That person, they're going to be okay. That life will continue moving on and moving forward and becoming an incredible person. And and you also, your life doesn't end here. Your life doesn't stop here. Your life doesn't even pause for a second. Your life continues moving forward. And so move forward with it. Be excited for the future. Don't forget. Don't get too stuck on this so that you can't see everything that's wonderful around you. There are many things in life to be grateful for. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. A lot of times we are quick to assume something is bad because we don't like it. Maybe you don't like the taste of strawberries. It doesn't mean strawberries are bad for your body, right? Maybe you like the taste of pizza. That doesn't mean it's good for your body. Doesn't mean it's terrible for your body either. There is nutrients in pizza, but regardless, we're just going to move past that point. Some things we label as good because we like how they feel, and some things we label as bad because we don't like how they feel. That's not the reality. The reality is you get to make of this what you will. The past was good, and the future is good too. It's not bad that you two maybe can't talk anymore, but I can see how you don't like it, and that's why it's okay to mourn. It's okay to feel sorrow. Those aren't evil things. Those aren't bad feelings. Just because we don't like them doesn't make them bad. In fact, going through sorrow sometimes, actually oftentimes, makes us stronger, makes life more enjoyable, makes us see the value in people and friends. And so we can work harder towards them and towards those goals to become better people. Sorrow can be a very powerful and beautiful tool for many things. But one thing that it shows us for sure, and I think it was science who said this earlier, or maybe it was somebody else, but they show us what to treasure in life. That there are things that are very valuable. And I'm sorry, I don't remember who said that in the chat. One of you guys did. Anyways, the second thing I want to say here is this, okay? And then I'm going to be done. There's something you can do. In this situation, there's one thing you can do. If you can get the phone number to the parents or to the child and say, hand the phone over to your parents and ask them, what can I do to be a better person so that I can hang out with your child? Imagining being a parent, hearing those words from a child on the phone would make me go, I'm going to do a 180. This child just immediately wins because who says that? Who has that frame of mind that says that response to me taking away something that is precious to them? Seriously, call them, find a way to contact their parents and say, what can I do to be a better person so that I can hang out with my friend, with your child? Because then you'll get the response, whatever their response might be. Because here's the thing, they might be taking this person away because they have a certain view of your race. And that's terrible. But there are people out there like that. Just because you're a different race, they are like, well, there's nothing you can do because you're blah.
Or social status.
Or it could be social status. You know, you're rich and we're poor and I don't like your kind. Or you're poor and we're rich and I don't like your kind. Or you're rich and I'm rich and I don't like your kind. No. But yeah, I mean, it could be any number of things that you have no control over, right? But if it's something where the parent is taking it away because they think that you are a bad influence, which makes sense from a parent's perspective, then you can turn that around by asking that question. And I wouldn't say, hey, I would not go at this like, hey, what did I do wrong? Don't say that. Rather, just put it right on to the point. What can I be better at? What can I be better at? What can I do better? Because that will instantly get to the point. Instead of going, what did I do wrong? You know, it's completely different to say, what did I did wrong? Because then the parent goes, you know, their point is to point out all the things that you did wrong or who you are as a person or how they see you. They're not looking at it from the perspective of how do we make you better? How do we fix this gap that's here and get you and your friend together again? They're not looking at that from that perspective unless you phrase it the right way. So make sure that you phrase it in such a way that gives them the idea that you want to improve as a human being so that you are worthy of their daughter. And it might even be that they're worried that you like them. maybe it's a, maybe they're like, oh my gosh, this person is gonna try to get in a relationship with you, so you can't have that, my child. you know so if you if you if you go from that perspective, I think that will help.
Mhm.
um Anyways, that's what I got. um do you have anything to follow that up with, Joe?
Um, Only that I think that's an awesome way to approach it. If you can always approach it, not, I love that. I just want to restate what you said, and that is to not ask, hey, what did I do wrong? Because then the perspective is a negative, that it points them at a negative angle to say, what can
Mhm.
I do better? It's forward looking rather than backward looking, and it's looking in the positive rather than the negative. So I thought that's genius right
Yeah,
there.
there are many times we say, what did I do wrong? It doesn't give them the idea that you want to fix it.
Right,
But if you
right.
say, what can I do better? Then they're
Mhm,
going to point out the things you did wrong, but knowing that your intention is to become better.
mhm.
So it's, yeah, like Joe said,
Right.
it's a completely different thing.
Yes, that's absolutely different because it's forward looking and positive rather than backward looking and negative. So it's like the opposite.
Hmm.
So you're asking the same question,
Yeah.
really, you know, but you're putting a really, really great spin on it that way. So that's definitely something to try. And yeah, thanks again, Anonymous. Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you so
and
much.
my thoughts and prayers are with you because I know how hard this can be. And yeah, you're yeah, I don't really have much else to say except that I
Yeah.
love you.
Yeah. We love you. You're awesome. And we hope to see more of you in the future. Um, if you want to join in the chat, we would love to see you.
Hmm.
But if
Yep,
you are just someone who likes to lurk, that's totally cool too. We
absolutely.
really appreciate anybody who gives us the time to listen to us, because seriously, that's so cool.
Yep.
That
Shout out to the lurkers. Hey,
Shout out to
lurkers.
lurkers. Hey, lurker crew, what up?
You guys are awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're on to the next, eh?
Yeah, eh?
So, eh?
Yeah, eh?
We've got,
You're from up north, eh?
yeah, eh?
Oh yeah.
You guys want some coffees?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, eh?
You guys want to sit down?
You're so good at that accent. Like seriously, I'm not. You are really good at it. I love it.
Got to go over the bridge to get real good at it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I love the way you phrase that too, because yes, absolutely.
You
Up
could take a
north,
car or a boat.
a bull. What do you call those things you wear on your feet?
Shoes, eh?
Yeah, shoes. But what do you call them when they're a little bit longer on the top part?
Oh, they're sorels.
Sorels? What about a boot? Eh?
A boot.
A boot. A boot.
Well, it's about 10, 11
It's
p.m.
11 p.m. now. Yeah. That's okay. Anyways, so do you want to go into science, uh, or do you want to go to JoJo?
uh, Good question.
Do that again, but like higher.
Uh, Good question.
Perfect. That's what I wanted.
Where?
Close.
Which one are we on here?
Um, so we just did anonymous. Before them is, well, actually technically after is JoJo.
Uh-huh.
That's what we're calling him now. It's so weird for me to say that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't think I'll ever call him that. Um,
Jojo. I won't either. I just call him Joe.
yeah, he's Joe to me. Like, even though I know Joe is here with me right now in this chat, the other guy's just Joe also, and that's all right. Or Bohan. That's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
So we got science getting my friend help, or we got JoJo. What do you think we should do?
I don't know.
No. Let's just close it.
Good question. You're the host.
All right, fine. Let's do JoJo.
Okay. Yeah, because he'll listen.
He'll listen.
Mojo Jojo.
Yeah, exactly. That's my problem. If I call him Jojo, I just have to call him Mojo Jojo. Not like that.
I have a client that calls me that.
Yeah.
Every time I call this office, they're like, Mojo Jojo.
Cool. Science
Hi.
agrees. All right, we can do JoJo's then.
All right.
Mojo
Let's
Jojo.
see. Which is that's the helping those in need.
So Joe, if you haven't noticed, they replied to you. Ken Keaton replied to you. So
She
check
did.
that
She
out.
replied to me.
Yeah, she replied to Joe, not you though. Maybe she replied to you as well in this. I don't know. So this is
Well, there it is. I'll post the link in the chat over here.
over here.
There it is. Oh, it's so for cute.
Oh, for cute. Don't you know?
It's just
I love oh for cute. I love
right.
that. I think everybody loves that phrase. All right.
Everybody, yes, everybody who knows about it loves it.
Mm-hmm. It reads this. Hey, I'm bringing questions from the Take It Easy Tuesday stream and wanted to know your take. How do you help someone who doesn't want to be helped? Or do you even help them? I think we may have gone over this once before, but it's a good thing to face again. And that's all. So that's a great question. Honestly, it's a really good question. There are many times in life where you encounter people who don't want help, and you're like, "But I want to help you," and they're like, "I don't want your help." And you're like, "But you seriously need my help." They're like, "I don't want it," or they're like, "Hey, I want your help," but they don't actually want it. They just want to talk, right? Sometimes that happens too. So you have there are many examples in life where this can happen. So it's definitely a good thing to cover, something that we all face.
Yes.
So,
and first of all, I'm glad I posted the link there because everybody can read Keaton's response of everything that I say and that Ryan says. Keaton's response will be much more wisdom filled.
Not better than mine though, because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read hers out loud.
Oh, good.
So it will be equally as awesome. No, I won't really.
No, actually, Keaton, I love your responses.
Yeah, seriously, you're amazing. We love you. We appreciate you so much.
So anyway,
go for it.
Did you want me to start?
Not right now.
Okay, I'll wait.
Good.
Just let me know. Just let me know when.
It's a really nice pencil.
It is. It says ATA on it.
What's ATA stand for?
American Taekwondo Association.
Nice. How's that going?
It goes
with the pencil part
of
it.
I'm gonna just I'm gonna go above and beyond the host, and I'm gonna just start answering it because
what is this? I'm gonna complain to the host.
Yeah, you know what the best thing for you to do?
Joe, you can start now.
You need
start. Okay. I'm allowing
you. Need to complain if you want to complain. You need to complain to the producer.
Yes, you're right. I need to start a support ticket.
Yes, start a support ticket. Send an email.
Yeah, Joe, you're allowed to go now. The wait is over. You can.
Oh, shoot.
I'm okay with it now.
All right. Anyway.
Jesse says he's gonna beat us.
So this is funny because now, because of our misbehavior, we've got Jesse in our ears, like yelling at us, and we've got Princess yelling at us in the chat. So
Princess, the show wouldn't be the show without the people that
mission accomplished. And we've got the angry cat face. Oh man! All right, we got to keep you guys on your toes.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, I'm glad I had that chance to read through some of Keaton's response, so I could say something smart. But anyway, how do you help someone who doesn't want the help, or do you even help them? Because that can really be a conundrum, and it's hard. sometimes. I mean, I've dealt with that before where I've had a person, I've had a person that seemed like they were having an issue and I knew the answer. But, you know, if I tried to tell them the answer, they would just get upset. And it's like, what? And this is very interesting because it's, in a way, it's part of learning how to be a husband, is learning how to not solve the problem that your wife tells you about. Because I'm wired to fix the problem. I generally, as a male, I don't bring a problem up unless I'm looking for a solution, unless I'm trying to figure out a solution. I'm saying it so I can get some feedback from the person I'm telling it to, so they can offer me some perspective or some help in the situation. Now, in the case of my wife, a lot of times she's just saying it because that's how she processes it in her mind. She processes things by saying it out loud, and she doesn't want my help or my advice because she knows, and I know too, that she's smart enough to figure it out. She's a really smart lady, and she can figure these things out. So sometimes I'm like, why are you asking me for help? And she's like, I'm not asking you for help. I'm just telling you what's going on. I'm like, oh, cool. So I've actually had, sometimes I remember, if I remember to, I'll ask. So is this something you just want me to listen? Or do you want me to like offer some solutions? And 9 times out of 10, she just wants me to listen and just be there, you know, and sometimes say, oh man, that sucks, you know, because sometimes things are tough. And what I can do is empathize with them. And so sometimes people, like Keaton said in her post, they don't want advice. They might not even want that. They just want the connection. They want a connection with you, you know. And so this is a way that they're connecting with you, but they don't want to be helped through it. They know the answer, but they're just looking for that connection. And so a lot of times the best thing you can do is just love them. Just affirm them as a person, and just say anything you say, make it geared toward that regard, where it's like, hey, you know, you're an awesome person, you're unique, you're loved. I'm so impressed that you're smart enough to handle this on your own. You know, you don't have to say those exact words, but that's kind of the approach. That's what could be going on in the back of your head while you're thinking. Because for me, anytime I hear a problem, I automatically start thinking of solutions to the problem. My focus is the problem rather than the person. And that's one thing that I need to fix so much in my relations with my wife, for one, and with other people in general as well. And that is focus on who it is that's saying it rather than what it is they're talking about. Or at least put an emphasis on who they are as a person. And I always try and remember that, and I hope I do a good job. You know, I would imagine I'd get some feedback if I was doing a completely terrible job. But that's why on Don't Worry Wednesday, what I always try to do, even when I'm offering advice, I always try and surround it with affirmation and validating the person who asked the question. You know, telling them that they're awesome and they're loved, and that kind of stuff, because that a lot of times that's all somebody needs in order to solve the problem. They just need to feel empowered enough to move forward with what they already know they're supposed to do. And that can be the biggest help. I know for me, there have been so many times when all I needed was somebody to tell me that I did a good job, or that, you know, I'm smart enough to figure something out, or that, you know, I had a good idea for once, or
once.
Whatever.
Yes, ever should frame that sentence, but okay, go on.
but,
All right. It's my
but yeah.
phlegmatic. It's my intense phlegmatic coming out.
So anyway, that's probably um if somebody is talking to you about something and they don't want your help, then probably what they want, just like Keaton said in her response, is they want the connection. They're just looking for the connection, you know. They may be looking for a word of encouragement. And we all can do that. And it's awesome. So anyway, Ryan,
Sure.
take it away.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. And I think that's so true. And that's something that we all struggle with a lot, I think, especially all human people. um, okay, so I have something to say. Hopefully, it can. Mine. I don't have a whole lot to say, but I have one really important thing to say. Our job in life is not to help people. Our job in life is to be a force for good.
Mm.
Or another way you could say that is our job in life is to be holy or to become a saint, not to help people. And that may seem like, well, aren't they the same? Well, they can be, but not always. We aren't, it's not our job in life to help everybody. It's not our job in life to make everybody happy. It's
Mm.
not our job in life to correct people. It's not our job in life to move people on the right path. God's doing that already. All right. It's our job to be a force for good. Our job. Now, that you sometimes you might think, okay, like, what's the best thing I can do? How can I be a force for good in the scenario? Well, help the people. Well, sometimes the best way to help somebody, like Joe was talking about, is to just be there. Um, you know, a lot of times helping people isn't the result of you going out of your way to tell them what they're doing wrong or trying to help them or maybe even giving them gifts. A lot of times the way we help people the most is by being an example. By being an example around them, spending time with them and being a good example of someone whose purpose is set on something good. Um, and usually that helps the most. Um, I can tell you it's when you hang out with friends that are moving along in their life and they want to move forward and they've got that drive to just be like increasing as human beings and becoming awesome, whatever. It gives you that drive as well. That rubs off on you. If you are hanging around people who are the opposite of that, that rubs off on you too. And you don't think life is that awesome and you're not really doing much in life. Um, so it's really important to be that kind of person for other people. Be the kind of person you want them to grow into, and be the
Mhm.
kind of person you want to grow into. I think that's really the best way to help people. If you're a force for good, you can do no wrong. Um, I mean, you can make mistakes, yeah, sure, um, but you're not going to be messing up your purpose. You're not going to be hurting people and making them worse people because you're a force for good. A lot of times that just helps people become better. Um, a lot of and if they become worse because you're being a force for good, then that's not because of you. That's because of other outside forces or their own mind frame, right? And that's nothing that you can change. That's nothing that you have control of. It's not your responsibility in life to help other people. It's not your responsibility to make other people happy in life. A lot of times people look at people and say, okay, it's my job to help this person. And I'm working on this person. And I think we fall into that trap often. We
Mhm.
need to make sure we're not saying we're working on a person or unless it's a client, obviously that's slightly different. You know, this is my workplace, so I'm working with this individual so to help them, right? But ultimately, if you're really trying to help somebody, be their friend and want nothing out of them. One of the best ways you can help somebody is to be their friend and want nothing out of them. Look for nothing. What I mean is, if you're constantly pushing the issue of this person needs to get better in this area, this person needs to get better in this area, how does that make them feel as a person? It makes them feel like they're not good enough. It makes them feel like they're not good enough. How is that encouraging? It's not. It's negative. It's negatively encouraging. That does happen in life, but it doesn't happen a whole lot. Not in this case. If you want to help somebody, be their friend, accept where they are, but treat them like they've already become the person you're hoping they become. Because if you treat them that way, it's going to be a whole lot easier for them to live up to that than if you're treating them like they're not good enough yet. So don't work on people. Don't try to fix people. Allow them to be who they are. Allow them to complain, allow them to express their bad habits and so on. But just treat them like they're already grown past it because they know. They know. They do. And if you act as a force for good, you're going to take them with you. They're going to want to ride that boat with you. And they're going to be like, they're going to be hopping on board and starting to grow way faster than you ever thought they would and you ever saw before. Because you're no longer making it a point to grow better. You're making it easy to grow better. Because if you focus on this is where you need to change here, this is where you need to change here, this is what you need to do in order for me to help you, you're doing this wrong, this could be better, trying to fix them, it points out all of the difficulty of change and all of that. But if you just be their friend and be the best you, then the pressure isn't there. It's so much easier when there's not pressure. It's so much easier when you're just going with the flow of things. Because all they have to do is go with the flow of things because you're already being a force for good out there. They're just going to be around you and they're going to start to pick up on that. And it's going to be easy because that's what everybody else is doing. It's easy. It's like, I just watched you. I just follow it. This is easy. Or, so yeah, I just really want to make that point clear because I think that happens. And I think I do that. What I mean is I think I do that wrong. And I need to change that sometimes. Sometimes I need to remember like, hey, we're not fixing people here. People are human and they're not mechanical structures or pieces of code we can point at and be like, oh, this is the bug right here. Fix that. That's not how humans work. But we can carry people along to success. And I think that's really the best operation. And then you don't have, and then you naturally help people feel like they're appreciated. You're just their friend. So I think that's what I'm going to say. That's all.
Well, that was some good stuff.
Yeah. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think you nailed it.
I butted the nail right in the head of the
Yes, you nailed the hammer to the wall.
Perfect.
I think it was science that said
nailed
that.
The hammer to the wall. I love that.
Somebody said that in the chat. I can't remember who said it.
Oh, that's great. Whoever said that is genius.
I know, it's perfect. So, no, I've got nothing else on that one. I think that was awesome. And
yeah, there you go.
That's read Keaton's reply.
Yeah, I'm sure it's very good because she's a very wise woman and got an amazing heart. So
I got to tell you, Keaton, if you're still here, reading through your responses, you really, really seriously could compile all that stuff and make a book. Nice. And people would buy it.
Nice.
Yep.
I believe it.
It's tremendous material. You are here,
I
Keaton.
am.
I'm so glad you're here,
Mm-hmm. You
and
are.
I hope you feel loved by everyone here.
Oh my goosh. I'm sure that's not pronounced goosh, but I'd like to read it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Nice.
goosh, don't you know? Oh, for cute.
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
One of these days, I'm going up there. I'm going up north.
Are you gonna get a hot dish?
It's gonna be great up there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hot dish. Oh, for goosh.
Oh, for all right. Well, anyways, I think that about concludes this stream.
Yeah.
So it's about a 2-hour mark, and we don't really have much time to do another one, but it's been good. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Hopefully, something somebody said, whether that be in the chat or that be one of us silly people up here, influenced you in a positive way and helps you figure out some things, whatever is going on in your life. So that'd be really cool. If not, then I'm glad you joined us anyways. Your comments in the chat have been really enjoyable to read. And it's really cool to see you guys helping each other out. That's so cool. I love reading those comments. So thank you guys, everybody in the chat. Thank you to the lurkers too. Thanks for increasing the
Lurkers.
numbers for us. I was like, hey, how many people are watching? Oh, 17 lurkers. Nice. No, I don't know.
Because I tell you, that would have been me.
I think me too. Like, well, I like to talk in chats, but
I have a hard
different than
time in chats. I type too slow.
you
I
could
was like, I start typing a response, and then all of a sudden there's like 3 more responses, and I'm like,
my response doesn't make sense in the context of any conversation.
No, it doesn't make any sense anymore. Delete.
Yep.
I'll just sit here and listen because it's a good time.
I get it. So yeah, thank you guys. You guys are amazing. We love you. And we're gonna see you next time on Don't Worry Wednesday.
Don't Worry Wednesday edition.
Yep, absolutely.
Coming to your computer or phone or device or whatever screen device or audio.
That's right.
We don't discriminate.
We don't discriminate against technological devices.
We don't discriminate against YouTube.
Right.
Everybody else. Oh, and here, real quick. Take It Easy Tuesday that Joe mentioned in his post. Jojo does a show called Take It Easy Tuesday. And he does it on Tuesdays. Which is really cool because it's called Take It Easy Tuesday. So he should be doing it on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I don't have the link in front of me. It's on Twitch. But if you look up Slightly Above Average Joe on Twitch, we should put a link in there or something. Does anybody have? Okay, Princess just posted it. All right. So yeah, go and subscribe to that Twitch channel right there. And then you can check out his show, Take It Easy Tuesday, on Tuesdays. And yes, Princess for the win. Princess, man, I don't know what we're going to do when you're not here.
Right. We'll try.
She's not going to be gone for very long, but man, we're going to be like struggling to keep this show together.
Well,
yes, that's right. We will live. We'll all live. I know. I got cider vinegar.
Princess, what happened to your eye? It's gone. Princess, and it's just like one of the eyes is gone. It's like a winky eye with the other eye just like. What happened?
That's hilarious. Hey, Aaron, welcome.
Hey. Yeah, I just got your message on Discord. And Juliet, apparently. Anyways, yeah, it's behind your hair. Oh, okay, so it's like an emo.
Oh yes, perfect. Good job. Well done. Well played.
Well played. Yeah, good answer. I thought maybe it was an eye patch, but hair works.
Nice.
Well,
we'll see you guys next time then. Wednesday. Come back and see us.
See you later. Bye-bye. Peace.
Bye. Love you guys.
Love you. Enjoy your life.